Hello, Tony here, back on my channel once more on a Wednesday slot. Now, previously when I appeared on Wednesdays, it was to usher in or send off a set with a box opening, and this instance will be no different. Today we will be opening up the much anticipated TCG exclusive set, King's Court. Now, for those curious about what King's Court is and what comprises it, King's Court is a side set product much in line with something like Toon Chaos. What I mean by that is that the set is generally comprised of three groups of cards. The first being a slew of world premiere cards designed to support a niche legacy archetype, the second being a plethora of widely anticipated OCG imports, and the third being a collection of highly useful reprints. Representing this first group in this set is the support for the Arcana Knight deck, focused on Yugi's Kings, Queens, and Jack Knight monsters. Representing the second group are cards like Crystal Girl and Utopic Future Dragon, cards that everyone has been clamoring for to be imported. And representing the last group are nice reprints of cards like Duality and ZW Leo Arms, but most importantly, Lightning Storm. On top of all that, the set also contains collector rare versions of both new and old cards like Reinforcement of the Army and number 39 Utopia, as well as a unique rarity reprinting of the Egyptian God cards in Millennium Seeker Rare. Kinda. But regardless of which group you fall under, it can be assured that King's Court has something for you to enjoy, which is why I'm rather excited to open up this set and see what I can build from it. Anyway, I've droned on enough. Without a further ado, let's get into the opening. So popping off this plastic here, before I start, it's important that I explain how I tend to do these openings. Not only will I be opening the packs, but as I encounter some of the very key cards in the set, I'll be pausing to go more in depth into them. I think this not only gives players a more informed mindset of the potential of the set, but also gives ideas to players of what they want to build from it. Anyway, going into the first pack here, let's see what we can get. Okay, so we have the Wicked Eraser. I forgot that they reprinted the Wicked Eraser cards, or all the Wicked cards, which have some very interesting rules that I one day do want to talk about. From there, we have a Golden Eyes Idol, which I think is Millennium Eye support. Utopic Future, which is nice that they reprinted it for the printing of Future Dragon. One Pendulum Exceeds for the Pendulum support. One Arcana Knight Joker, since there is Arcana Knight cards. One Rivalry of the Warlords? Rivalry of the Warlords, yes. It's not a bad card. And Exceeds Hyper Cannon. Okay, this is support for the XYZ Dragon Cannon archetype, which isn't support for Exceeds monsters, but it's still interesting nonetheless. Going into our second pack, let's see what we can get. We have Ties of the Brethren, another great reprint, another Wicked Eraser, another Arcana Knight Joker, Gravekeeper Spy for some reason, one number 39 Utopia Ray, one Reinforcement of the Army, and one Face Card Fusion. This is one of the supports for Arcana Knight that allows you to fusion summon for some of your Arcana Knight fusions directly from the deck, which is rather cool. Unfortunately, they didn't make a retrain of the Arcana Knight fusion, and all the current ones, they're not that great. A third Wicked Eraser, I guess we have a playset, another Golden Eyes Idol, another Utopic Future, are we getting some deja vu here? Another Pendulum Exceeds, wait, and another Arcana Knight Joker, and a Rival of the Warlords, and a World Legacy Guard Dragon. Okay, I feel the need to preface that our first round of packs, except for the super rare, I think were exactly the same order. They were exactly the same order. That is very weird. Anyway, moving on to the next set, or the next pack. Another Ties of the Brethren, another Wicked Eraser, another Arcana Knight Joker, another Gravekeeper Spy, another Utopia Ray, another Rhoda, and a Tindangle to Holes. Hold on. What? Ties of the Brethren, Wicked Eraser, Arcana Knight, Gravekeeper Spy, C39, Rhoda. Holy snap. They're actually identical left and right. Now that is a very interesting, that's a very interesting observation. Let's see if that keeps going for the next few packs. Because otherwise, I guess, what we expect on the left, we'll expect on the right. We have one Reinforcing the Army, a Yangzing Baxia, a Jax Knight, a Ties of the Brethren, a ZW Tornado Bringer, which is actually a fantastic reprint considering this card was getting hard to find, and players who actually wanted to play Zexo Weapon Utopia needed this card. 1 starter Xiaolong, and 1 Burning Soul as our first ultra rare. So this is support for Jack Atlas's Red Dragon Archfiend. The support is hard to actually utilize, however I think my friend Sam Knight is definitely looking forward to playing this card, just because he's a sucker for the Red Dragon Archfiend archetype. Alright, moving on from there, we have the Baxia, Future, Queen's Knight, Duality, Wicked Avatar, ZW Eagle Claw, as well as Rose Princess. There's also support for the Rose Dragons in this set, in line with the stuff from Lightning Overdrive. This card allows you to search into White Rose Cloister, another card in this set, which actually has some very interesting applications for the Rose Dragon archetype. Alright, going into our next pack, we have the 1 Reinforcement of the Army, 1 Baxia, 1 Jack's Knight, 1 Ties of the Brethren, 1 ZW Tornado Bringer, 1 starter Xiaolong, and 1 Magnet Induction. Okay, I'm going to pause to talk about this card briefly, but Magnet Induction is one of the TCG World Premier cards for Magnet Warriors, which is actually really rare given the fact that we haven't seen Magnet support in a long time, but this card is actually insane. It lets you special summon 1 Magnet Warrior from your deck as long as you control a level 4 or lower Magnet Warrior, and then it gives immunity from Battle Destruction and Card Destruction for the rest of the turn for all your Magnet and Magna monsters, which is actually fantastic support for some of the archetype, especially with something like, I think the second Valkyrion monster that pops cards like Dark Arm Dragon, but really doesn't work well against negates. Going from there, we have a Baxia, a Utopic Future, a Queen's Knight, there's that Deja Vu again, Pot of Duality, Wicked Eraser, ZW Eagle Claw, and Court of Cards. This is one of the King's Court cards. I'll talk about them more if I do pull an ultra rare for this, but I think the archetype is actually rather interesting in its own right. We have the ZW Eagle Claw, a Leo Arms, another Gravekeeper Spy, a Utopia Ray, ZW Ultimate Shield, Pendulum Transfer, I believe that's another Pendulum support, as well as a Scrap Twin Dragon. Well, I mean, they did reprint the Scrap Twin Dragon, so if anyone was hoping to play Scraps at some point, well, you now have the deck a little cheaper than it was before. Still no reprinting of that Chimera, though, which is rather unfortunate. We have the 1 Rescue Rabbit, the Infinite Cards, because this is a Yugi based set, so Slifer the Sky Dragon support, I guess. ZW Leo Arms, Rivalry of the Warlords, Pendulum Transfer, Tornado Bringer, and Hyper Galaxy. So in terms of the fact that I have done a Galaxy profile, people are going to ask, does this card do anything? And the answer is a resounding no. This card specifically supports Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon, which is nice, but the fact that it still is a neg-1 on your part makes this card rather awkward to play. I'll experiment with it, and if I ever find something useful out of it, I will make a deck profile for it, but realistically, I don't think this changes the fact that we just lost Union Carrier. ZW Eagle Arms, Leo Arms, Gravekeeper Spy, another Utopia Ray, a Ultimate Shield, a Pendulum Transfer, and a Crystal Girl. Alright, Crystal Girl is one of the more interesting cards. When it's normal summon or when it's special summon, at the end phase you can add 1 level 5 or higher water monster. So realistically, let's let you add things like Atlantean monsters and or Mermail monsters, but also lets you add some of the Earth's Arctic monsters, which I think is actually really cool support that I may want to update the deck in the future for. Alright, next up on our list we have the Rescue Rabbit, Infinite Cards again, Leo Arms, Rivalry of the Warlords, Pendulum Transfer, ZW Tornado Bringer, and another Crystal Girl. Is anyone experiencing a serious amount of deja vu? I may only notice this in re-editing, but if you guys are noticing that the fat packs are kind of just duplicates in both left and right, let me know. Pot of Duality, Wind Up Arsenal Zenmaio, that's a very odd reprint. Eternal Bond, this is a support for Galaxy that only works if you're playing against Galaxy. Infinite Cards, The Warrior Returning Alive, Converging Wishes, and Chao Fang, which was starting to get expensive at some point due to Virtual World, but I guess better late than never. Golden Eyes Idol, Wicked Avatar, Unexpected Die, Warrior Returning Alive, Jack's Knight, King's Knight, and there it is, another ultra rare in our Joker Straight. So I think I'm going to take some time right now to pause this and talk about this archetype specifically. So one of the most anticipated components of King's Court is the Arcana Knight support. Centering around Yugi's classic monsters in King's Queen and Jack's Knight, this support's playstyle loosely revolves around the usage of these monsters as they were in the anime, as a means of way to swarm the field to amass tribute fodder for the Egyptian gods. As such, the new support for this archetype is geared toward finding ways to special summon out your Queen's Knight and then add your King's Knight, of which it can be normal summon to summon out your Jack's Knight, thus putting 3 monsters on the field. Bolstering this support are cards designed to recycle this trio, as well as support designed to bring out powerful boss monsters like your Egyptian gods, as well as their own new boss monster. And shockingly, the cards are actually incredibly functional. Like the support Konami made for Toons, the support in this set makes the deck highly consistent, which is insane given that this archetype was formerly comprised of 2 normal monsters, one of which being a level 5 and an awkward effect monster. And while I don't think the deck has high meta implications, I definitely think that the deck is extremely playable in its own right and worth experimentation in other decks as small engines. So, if you're a fan of the classic Yugi playstyle, or just like the Arcana Knight cards in general, this is definitely something you want to be looking out for. Going back into our opening, let's see what we else can. We already got 2 ultra rares, unfortunately, so the last ultra rare is pretty much what we're riding on, but there's still some interesting things that I can talk about. We have a Pot of Duality, a Wind Up Arsenal Zenmayo, Eternal Bond, Infinite Cards, a Warrior Returning Alive, a Converging Wishes, and a number 49 Fortune Tune, which, with the release of, I guess, Astral Kuribo, for those who are aware of the OCG support, can be very interesting in terms of having just a undestructible monster. A Golden Eyes Idol, the Wicked Avatar. I haven't seen the Wicked Dreadwood yet, that's weird too. Unexpected Die, Warrior Returning Alive, King's Knight, or Jack's Knight, King's Knight, and another World Legacy Guard Dragon. Alright, I think we're rounding off. There's only about, I think, 4 or 5 packs left on each side, so let's hopefully we get something soon. Unexpected Die, Installing Ptolemy M7, a Queen's Knight, Dowsing Fusion, another Pendulum support, Zoga the Prophet, I think this is for Ishizu support, Cloud Castle, and Joker's Wild. Alright, moving on from there, on the right side, we have Converging Wishes, another Baxia, another Dowsing Fusion, another Zenmayo, Pot of Duality, Zoga the Prophet, and another Xyz Hyper Cannon. So nothing exciting as of yet. I think we've covered most of the basic cards in this set, which does cover a fair number of each of the 3 groups I mentioned before, but hopefully we get something interesting. Unexpected Die, another M7, a Queen's Knight, I think that's our playset at some point, a Dowsing Fusion, a Zoga the Prophet, a Cloud Castle, and a Lightning Storm? Wait. Oh, this is a Collector's Rare Lightning Storm. I didn't know this came in Collectors. Neat. That's a little unfortunate though, because I was actually kind of hoping to pull something that I could talk about. So this might be the first time that someone might be salty right now, but this might be the first time I'm actually disappointed that it's a Collector's Rare. Anyway, Converging Wishes, Baxia, Dowsing Fusion, Wind Up Arsenal Zenmayo, Pot of Duality, Zoga, and Chao Fang. Now the fact that we hit the Collector's Rare most likely means that we won't have another Ultra Rare, which I guess means that there's not much else to talk about, but regardless, let's finish things up. We have the King's Knight, Majestic Dragon. This might be the first time we've seen this Majestic Dragon. There is a Majestic Dragon reprint coming for the Dawn of Majesties cards in the next set. Number 39 Utopia, a Xiaolong, Arcana Extra Joker, also the first time we've seen this card as well. Pension of Xyz, as well as well, you know, there is another Ultra Rare. So that's 3 Ultra Rares and 1 Collector's Rare. Not bad. Joker's Knight is actually a very interesting card. I've already mentioned the Arcana Knight support briefly, but I'm just going to cover this card separately as well. So Arcana Knight Joker functions very similarly to the Magician's Soul card, in that it could send either a King's, Queen's, or Jack's Knight from your deck to the graveyard to special summon this card. What's nice is while it's in the graveyard, it can also shuffle one of those normal knights back into the deck to add this card back into your hand, making this a recurable level 5 light warrior monster that you can continuously special summon, which actually has some very interesting applications for decks like, well, unfortunately, Isoul decks. Honestly, it's fantastic support. Given the fact that we pulled 2 very powerful cards for that, I guess I might just be building that Arcana Knight deck. Look forward to that. We have the 1 Majestic Dragon, the 1 Cloud Castle, the Future, Utopia, Eternal Bond, Queen's Knight, and Scrap Twin Dragon. Alright, last 2 packs in this set. Not expecting much. This has been a pretty great opening overall, but who knows? we have a King's Knight, Majestic Dragon, a Utopia, a Xiaolong, a Arcane Extra Joker, a Pendulum Xyz, and a Thunder Speed Summon. Alright, so this is another, well, I guess this is technically Arcana Knight support, but it actually has some very interesting applications. So Thunder Speed Summon allows you to search for, or I guess if you control a Kings, Queens, and Jacks Knight, allows you to search for a non-dark ? Attack monster from your deck, and then immediately normal summon it. What's cool about this effect is that while you can use this to, if you control something like the 3 to search into Slide for the Sky Dragon and search it and normal summon it, you can also use this to search Sphere mode and tribute your opponent's monsters as well, making this for some reason weird disruption for the Arcana Knight deck. I'm glad I pulled one of these because I do have 2 from a prior opening with my friends, and I guess that means I have my playset. Majestic Dragon, Cloud Castle, Future, Utopia, Eternal Bond, Queen's Knight, and wrapping it all off, 1 Fortune Tune to finish off the set. And that's going to wrap things up for this box opening. So, what are my final thoughts on this set? Well, I think the set is actually shockingly very good. For a lot of the side sets like Ancient Guardians, or I guess the set before that, a lot of the cards weren't that interesting, partially because they were archetype cards. But things like Toon Chaos, which not only has legacy support for the classical players, as well as reprints for the competitive players, is a fantastic set overall for any kind of player, making this one of those sets that I think regardless of what you open, you'll find something that pleases you. And as a result, I do think that this set will be bought rather heavily, and going forward, the cards will go up rather well. So if you're looking for a decent investment, this might be it also. But I'm no financial analyst on that part, I'll leave that up to you. Anyway, my name is Tony Yang. This has been a King's Court opening. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you guys next time.